Good morning. In manufacturing technology, we have started new chapter forming and shaping processes. In earlier lecture, we have seen some basics regarding these forming and shaping process. Okay, so in this one, whatever the material that will be deforming plastic zone. Okay, and for that one, we require some external pressure. And we have seen that how the metal flow plastically and what is the uh, is, these two tin and slip deformation that will important for this metal forming and metal shaping process. So these are the two very important phenomenon that will widely used. Then we have talked about this recrystalline temperature, and depends upon that there are two types of metalworking process, which is known as a hot working and cold working. Okay, so whatever be the above the recrystallization temperature, it is known as a hot working process, and below the recrystallization temperature, it is known as a cold working process. And then we have discussed about this plastic deformation. Okay, there are two types of general deformation, that is elastic deformation and plastic deformation. Okay, and for that one, we have seen this diagram. Whatever the to be deformation, that is known as elastic deformation. In this one, uh, whatever be the force is applied, there will be a strain, there will be shape change, but that shape change or that deformation is not permanent. So as you release the force, the material that will regain its original shape and size. This type of deformation is known as a elastic deformation, and this zone is known as a elastic zone. While in this one, beyond the yield stress, if you apply the force, it will deform, and that deformation is permanent. So that deformation zone is known as a plastic deformation, and this plastic deformation is very important for forming and shaping, because we want to change the shape and size of a raw material to convert into desired shape and size. So this plastic deformation may be occur by these two phenomena. First, it will be either by slips of the layer, one layer that will slip on another layer, or twins layer, or twinning layer, or it may be by the simultaneous action of both twinning and slipping. Okay, so that we have discussed earlier, and then we have started our discussion on work hardening. Work hardening, it is a phenomenon that when we perform the forming and shaping process at room temperature. Okay, so at that time, uh, it will become harder to work it in a next day. So that is the work hardening, and that work hardening is very important for farming and shaping, because depends on that we have to decide that what amount of force is required in our upcoming strokes. So that is very important phenomenon of work hardening for cold working process. And finally, we have talked about this hot working temperature. And about hot working temperature, it will be more than the recrystallization temperature. Okay, and the temperature range that should be above the recrystallization temperature, but it should not be up to the melting temperature. Okay, and why this hot working is important? Because it will improve this ductility, toughness, resistance to shock and vibration, and percentage elongation and reduction in India. All these properties, mechanical properties, that will be improved by this hot working process. And then we have seen that various hot working process that can be carried out in metal forming and shaping process. So hot rolling, hot extrusion, spinning, roll spacing, hot drawing, hot forging. All this process we are going to discuss in our upcoming lectures. Okay, so these are the various processes that can be performed in hot state. And then we have discussed about disadvantages. So what are the advantages? Due to hot working, no residual stress are introduced into the metal, because in hot working process we are working with the process below the or above the recrystallization temperature. So there is a generation of new crystal structure uh, and growth of the structure, so that whatever the internal stress is generated during the uh, application of force, that will be eliminated. So that is why no residual stress is introduced into the metal. Then what will refine the grain structure, because it will go more than a recrystal temperature, so it will refine the grain structure. It will improve the physical properties, which are the various physical properties we have discussed, that are ductility and percentage elongation and shock absorption, all these properties that will improve. Then any impurity in the metal are disintegrated and distributed throughout the metal. That is very important, because in cold working process, this uh, impurity distribution is not uh, equal or not throughout, so that there is some heterogeneous property may be generated, and due to that uneven mechanical properties are also find out in a different place on a same object. So that can be easily improved by using this hot working process. Then porosity of metal is minimized by hot working process, because as we are working in a hot state, whatever be the porosity will be eliminated by application of higher force, as well as restructuring and refining of the grain structure. So that is also one very good important advantage of this hot working process. Then during hot working, as the metal is in plastic shell, larger deformation can be accomplished and more rapidly. So why we are doing this hot working process? This is why. In this one, large deformation can be accomplished in a small stroke, or in a small amount of force, you can get more deformation. So for that, this one is very important, and it is more rapidly, because as you increase the temperature of the material, it will become softer. As it will become softened, it requires less force and less time to uh, to get deformation. So that is why it will be there will be a larger deformation, and it is more rapid be done by this hot working process. Then next advantage is that hot working produces raw material which is to be used for subsequent cold operation. So basically, this hot working are used in earlier stages of the process, or sometime it will be useful for making the raw material for cold working process. Okay, so this is very important. And why this will be used in earlier stage? Because in earlier stage we require larger deformation, and that deformation is rapid. So that can be easily carried out by this hot working process, and then whatever be the material processed, or that will be used as the raw material for the subsequent process in a cold working operation. So these are the advantages. Now it has some limitations also. So the limitation is that as hot working is carried out at high temperature, a rapid oxidation or scale formation takes place on the metal surface, which leads to poor surface finish and loss of metal. Okay, so this is one important disadvantage, that rapid oxidation and scale formation occurs. Why this rapid oxidation and scale formation occurs? Because we are working at a higher temperature. So at higher temperature, uh, this there is an increase in all this oxidation and scale formation. Okay, and when there is a oxidation and scale formation occur, so there are two chances that whatever the surface you are getting, that will become poor, and there will be some loss of the metals. Okay, so this is one disadvantage. Then due to the loss of carbon from from the surface of the steel piece being worked, the surface layer loses its strength. So as you know that carbon, the percentage of carbon that will improve your strength. Okay, so now during this hot working process, whatever be the carbon on the surface, that is lost, and due to that, whatever the surface layer strength, that will become less. Okay, so it will lose its strength. So your internal structure, that will become having a higher strength, while your outer layer, that will having a less strength as compared to its core. So that is the another disadvantage of using this hot working process. And next important is that weakening the surface layers by give rise to structure crack, which results in failure of the part. Okay, so your part may failure faster because there will be a fatigue cracks due to the temperature rise. Okay, so that is another limitation. And then close the tolerance cannot be obtained. This is important. Close tolerance will not obtain. Why this close tolerance will not obtain? Because as you increase the temperature of the material, your material or your metal, that's probably going to expand. Okay, so during that expansion zone, when you perform the uh, object, okay, it will have some shape, but when it cools, it will be contract, and when it will be contract, so that its dimension will change. So whatever the dimension you have prepared earlier, and after cooling, it may change. So the closed dimension tolerance that cannot be easily obtained by using this hot working process. Then hot working involves excess expenditure on account of high tooling cost, because whenever you want to perform farming and shaping process at high temperature, so first of all you require some equipment, or require some machine, or require some furnace to heat the uh, metal object. So it will increase the cost, as well as at the same time, whenever you are doing the work at high temperature, so you have to take some safety precautions. Also, whenever you do the work at high temperature, whatever be the tool you are using, that also become hot. So its life is also get affected. So all these are expenditures that will be very important for this hot working process, and all that will lead to increase in high cost. Okay, so there is a high cost of furnace, there is a high cost of tool wear out, and we require safety precaution. Okay, so that is why this hot working process will that involves a overall very high costing. Okay, so these are some of the limitations of this hot working process. So we have discussed about this hot working process. Initially, hot working process that will be carried out more than a degree temperature and below the melting temperature. It will improve all this property. And then these are the some of the process that can be carried out by using this hot working process. And we have discussed about some of the advantage of this hot working process, and we have discuss some of the disadvantages or limitation of this hot working process. Now, second process that we generally use in metal forming and shaping process, that is known as the cold working. Doing uh, uh, cold working process, the working of the metal at temperature below the requested temperature, that is known as a cold working process. Okay, so it should not be higher than the requested temperature, and generally this cold working process will be carried out at a room temperature without increasing any temperature. Okay, so that is known as a cold working process, and most of the cold working process are performed as I discussed. Most of the cold working process are performed at room temperature. Now, unlike this, that hot working process, it distorts the grain structure and does not provide an appreciable reduction in size. Okay, so this is the, you can say, limitation, that it distorts the grain structure. Why? Because whenever we apply the force on a metal, okay, so there will be some generation of stress, and that generation of stress is not a recover in cold working process, because it is a work at a room temperature. While in hot working process, whatever there is also a generation of stress, but that stress, that generated stress, that is recovered because of the restructuring or refining of the grain structure, so that at the end of the process, in a hot working process, you do not have any disturbed grain structure. While here you are working at room temperature, okay, so there is no chance of a generation of new grains or refineness of the grain structure. Okay, so in this one, whatever be your grain structure, that will distort, and it does not provide an appreciable reduction in size. Why? Again, here the same thing is that whenever you do the metal forming and shaping at higher temperature, your material becomes softer. So in a single step or in a single application of the force, you will get a large deformation. But here you are performing at a room temperature, so that the reduction is not so high as we got in a hot working process. Okay, so these are the two bigger things comparable to the hot working process, that it will distort the grain structure and it will not provide an appreciable size reduction as compared to hot working process. Then cold working require a much higher pressure than hot working process. As discussed that it require higher force because in hot working process the material becomes softer. So in less force it will do much work. While here to bend or to cut or to squeeze any material, it requires very large pressure as compared to hot working process. Then if the material is more ductile, it can be more cold work. Okay, so this is important for ductile material. As your material is very ductile, okay, so it can be easily cold work by say, less amount of force. Okay, so the ductility play very important role here to metal to be cold work. Okay, so if your the material is more ductile, it can be easily cold work. But if it is not ductile, then it requires higher force, and at that time we should go for this hot working process. Then residual stresses are set up during the process, and to neutralize these stresses, a suitable heat treatment process is required. Okay, so as we discussed that in this one, your grain structure will distort, and as your grain structure will distort, there is some residual stresses generated in the material. Okay, now whatever be the residual stresses generated in the material, it should be removed. So how it can be removed? By applying the suitable heat treatment process. Means it is a secondary operation. First of all, you do the work at a cold working temperature. You bend it or squeeze the material, and then you apply the proper heat treatment process. You know the application of the heat treatment process. You already studied this one is material science. So heat treatment process are used to improve the mechanical properties of a material. Okay, so that is why whatever be the residual stresses are generated, that can be easily removed by secondary heat treatment process. Means in this case you have to do the secondary operation if required for removing the residual stresses. So this is the cold working process. Then it has. Now, again, in cold working process also there are certain types of a process that can be easily formed, like a cold rolling, cold drawing, cold spinning, stretch forming, cold forging and switching, cold extrusion, coiling, embossing, cold bending, rod forming, short spinning, high energy rate forming, HRF. Okay, so these are the some of the process that can be worked at as a cold working process also. Okay, and some of these same process you have seen in a hot working process also. Okay, so like rolling, drawing, spinning, all these process can be performed as a hot working also, and same way they can be work as a cold working process also. Okay, now cold working results in a strain hardening, distortion of grain, and the crystallographic structure. Okay, so this is important. It will generate or it will result in strain hardening and distortion of the grain because we are dealing at a room temperature. So whatever the stress generated, that will generate strain hardening as well as distortion of the grain. And various mechanical properties are depend upon the crystallographic structure. Okay, so after performing the process, whatever be your disturbed grain or whatever be your strain hardening depends upon that. You will have this crystallographic structure, and based on that crystallographic structure, you can have a various mechanical property. Either your ductility may increase or decrease, your percentage elevation may increase or decrease. Okay, so whatever be the different mechanical properties, that is totally depends upon this crystallographical structure. Now, we are going to discuss about certain advantages of this cold working process. So first, better dimension control is possible because there is no much reduction in size. Okay, so this is very important. So whenever you want to get a dimension within a certain tolerance limit, it can be easily achieved by this cold working process because for a small dimension, say you require a higher force. So when you apply the force, there is a small change in the dimension. And when there is a small change in dimension, you can easily control the dimension. While in hot working process, if you apply the same force or pressure that you apply in cold working, there is a much deformation. So then it is very difficult to control the dimension. The next one is a surface finish of the component is better because no oxidation takes place during the process. So, as compared to hot working process here, no oxidation process. And when there is no oxidation process means there is no loss of any metal from the surface. As there is no loss of any surface from the any loss of metal from the surface, you can have a very good dimension uh, or you can have good surface things. Okay, so this is another advantage by using of this using polyurethane process. And strength, tensile strength and yield strength and hardness of the metals are increased. Why it will increase? Because as we discussed here that there is a strain hardening. And due to that strain hardening, your material become harder as compared to hot working process. So that is why there is a tensile and yield strength of the metal that may be increased in a cold working process. And then finally, it is an ideal method for increasing hardness of those metals which do not respond to the heat treatment. Okay, so it is very important to increase the hardness because sometimes some of the material or some of the metals which we cannot apply for a heat treatment process. And in that one, if we want to improve the hardness, how we can improve? So that can be improved or increased by using this cold working process. Okay. So these are some of the advantages of using cold working process. Now it has certain limitation. So the limitation of cold working process is that first limitation is that uh, ductility of the metal is decreased during the process. Why ductility will decrease? Because your material become strain hardened, and when the your strain hardening will increase, automatically your ductility will decrease. So it will require higher force to um, change the shape and size of the object. Only ductile metals can be shaped through the cold working because if there is no ductility, we cannot uh, easily change the shape and size of the material because it requires higher force as well as sometimes there are large cracks may be generated during the cold working process. Okay, so if your material is ductile, then it is very easy to shape the by using this cold working process. Then uh, overall working of metal result in brittleness, and it has to be annealed to remove the brittleness. Okay, so initially your material is ductile, okay, but over the working of these metals, you are continuously doing the cold working process on the metal, so your material will transform into the brittle structure. And as your material become brittle, means it may be fail in some further application of the force. So what you have to do to increase the ductility and to reduce the brittleness, the metal is to be annealed. Okay, so annealed means it is an annealing process that we have studied in heat treatment of metals. Okay, so by doing the annealing process, you can easily remove the brittleness and again you regain or refine its structure so that uh, it has a proper crystallographic structure. Then next disadvantage is that to remove the residual stress set up during the process, subsequent heat treatment is mostly required. Okay, so that is important because there are certain residual stresses that are, and if we do not remove the residual stresses and we directly use the component into the some working application, due to that residual stresses from that particular point, your object may be start to fail. Okay, why? Because in that residual stresses there is a non-uniform crystallographic structure, and from if there is non-uniform crystallographic structure means there will be a chance of a small crack. From that small crack, your crack will slowly grow and it will fracture, so that your whole component that will going to be fracture. So that's why it is very important that to remove that residual stresses. So how we can remove these residual stresses? By applying some of the heat treatment processes. There are numbers of heat treatment processes are available. So from that one, we have to find out the suitable heat treatment process to reduce the residual stresses, which is totally depends upon the type of the material that we are working. So these are some of the disadvantage of this cold working process. So we have discussed two important aspect of metal forming and shaping. First aspect is hot working, and second aspect is cold working. So in hot working, uh, the material is worked more than recrystallization temperature, but it should be below the melting temperature. While in cold working, it will be done at a room temperature. So now this difference between hot working and cold working process is very important for exam point of view, because it has asked so many times and in final exam also. Okay, and if you know this difference, then any of this theory that is asked in a short note, the form of a short note, you can easily write. Okay, so these are the some of the differences in a hot working process and cold working process. So first, that hot working is carried out above the recreational temperature, but below the melting temperature. Hence, deformation of metal and recovery takes place simultaneously. While in cold working, it is carried out below the recreational temperature, and as such, there is no such appreciable recovery of the metal. Then second point is that during the process, residual stresses are not developed in the metal. During this process, residual stresses are developed in the metal. We have already discussed the reasons for all these particular properties. Why it is generated, why it is not generated. Then, because of higher deformation temperature use, the stress required for deformation is less. While in here, the stress required to cause deformation is much higher, because in this case your material becomes softer and it requires less force. While here, there is the material that will remain in same form, so that you require higher force to uh, change the shape and size. Then hot working refines metal grains, while cold working leads to distortion of the grain. Okay, so here also there will be deformation of the grain, but it will again refine, because we are working more than the recrystallization temperature. Okay, so there is also a deformation of the grain or distortion of the grain, but that distortion and deformation is recovered. While here we are working at a lower than the recrystallization temperature, so whatever the distortion that will not recover. Okay, so that is the main difference. Then in a hot working process, no hardening of metal takes place. While here, your metal gets work hardened. Then, if the process is properly performed, it does not affect ultimate tensile strength, hardness, corrosion, and fatigue resistance of the metal. Okay, again, do this one. If the process is properly performed, it does not affect ultimate tensile strength, hardness, corrosion, and fatigue resistance of the metal. While here, it improves the tensile strength, yield, and fatigue strength, but reduce corrosion resistance of the metal. Okay? So both have certain requirement, and depends upon that you will get some property changes. Okay, then it also improves some mechanical properties like impact, strength, and elongation. Now here, during this process, impact, strength, and elongations are reduced. So we have already discussed the reasons, because this one is work at higher temperature, this one is work at a lower temperature. Depends upon that, there is a crystallographic change. Then, due to oxidation and scaling, poor surface finish is obtained. This is very important. We obtain a poor surface finish in this case. While here, cold work parts carried better surface finish. Okay, so depends upon your requirement. If you require a very good surface, then you have to go for a cold working process. And if you do not require a very good surface, but you require large deformation, then we can go for this hot working process. Okay, so what type of requirement? And depends upon that requirement, we have to go for either hot working process or cold working process. Okay, so here definitely your surface is not good, because at higher temperature there is a chance of oxidation and scaling. While here it will be performed at room temperature, so that uh, mm, the surface finish you get, that is very good, excellent as compared to this hot working process. And next one is a closed dimension tolerance cannot be maintained. Okay, so there are two reasons for not getting this close dimension tolerance. First, that due to oxidation and scaling, your metal will be some amount of your metal from the surface will lost. That is the first reason to not get a close dimension tolerance. And second, that we have discussed that at higher temperature your material metal will get expand, and when it will be again its temperature is reduced to room temperature, it will contract. And when it will contract, there will be some change in the dimension. So these are the two reasons. Because of that, we cannot get very close dimension tolerance. While here, superior dimensional accuracy can be obtained. So here again, two reasons for getting this superior dimension accuracy. First is that there is no loss of material due to the expansion and scaling, and that one uh, the second one is that we require a large force to change a small dimension, so that we can easily get a very close dimension that we require by applying our forces. Okay, so these are the this point is very important for both this case. In this one we can get a close dimension tolerance, in this one we can get accurate dimension, and this is in this one we cannot get a good surface finish, while here we can get a very good surface finish. Okay, so these 2 points are very important, and that will be considered for choosing the uh, process. Either we have to go for a hot working process or a cold working process. And the next point is that hot working is most preferred where heavy deformation is required. Okay, and cold working process is preferred where work hardening is required. Okay, so uh, when you change the dimension from very bigger size to very small size, and in this case you require a very large force for a large deformation. Okay, so at this time we can go for a hot working process, because if this large reduction or large deformation is done by cold working process, then it will require very large force, and it also require a long time to perform this process. Okay, so this is why this is very important to see that which process is used for which type of transformation. Okay, so in this case, for heavy deformation we require hot working process, while for strain hardened work or for a very large very small dimension gel, we can go for a cold working process. Okay, so this is the difference between hot working and cold working process. Now nowadays this is very popular, that we are using both this hot working and cold working process for making a component. because in initial stages, suppose you have a square block, and from that square block you want to convert into the I section. So in this case, in initial stages, this dimension or this deformation require or we require higher deformation. The initial stages that will be performed by the hot working process, and after getting the I section, we require a close dimension tolerance, so that close dimension tolerance that can be easily achieved by this cold working process. Okay, so suppose you want to convert that square block to the I section, suppose it may require 20 to 30 strokes. So initial strokes, that is uh, initial 8 to 10 strokes, that is done at a high temperature. So it will be taken as a hot working process, and then the next steps will be performed by the cold working process, so that you have the advantage and disadvantages can be considered for both this process, and it will be utilized for your work. Okay, so nowadays it will become very important to use both this hot and cold working process there is. Okay, so both process are equally important. Okay, no process is good and no process is bad. Okay, both the process have certain advantage and limitation uh, according to their requirement, and both process are widely used in industry. Okay, in some industry hot working are widely used. In some industries, cold workings are widely used. While uh, in some company, they are simultaneously use hot working and cold working. Hot working for initial stages and cold working for uh, 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 later stages for dimension accuracy. Okay, so both process are widely used in industries, and depend upon the requirement, depend upon the budget, depend upon the properties you require, you can choose which type of process you have to follow. Either we can go for a hard working process or we can go for a cold working process. Okay, so both these processes are very important. Suppose if we take the example of household mm, objects. Okay, like if you take the example of frame of a door or a frame of the window, in this one we are not bother about this close dimension tolerance. We are not bother about this um, uh, hardness and toughness. Okay, so that may be performed at room temperature also, just bending it and we get a particular shape, and then it will be fitted. Okay, while in some components using if you take some component that is going to be used in some aeronautical part or some automobile part, in that one the performance require very close dimension tolerance. Okay, so at that time we have to choose that particular process. Okay, so depends upon that which type of applications we require, which type of dimension tolerance we require. Either we require corrosion resistance or not, we require high stain harden or not, we require good surface finish or not. Okay, so depends upon that we have to choose the material. Okay, so these are the two very important, two very good important aspect for metal forming and metal shaping. First one is a hot working, and second one is a cold working. And nowadays, one another aspect that is come in the context, that is known as a warm working. Not it is a hot working nor a cold working. It is a warm working. Warm working means that it should be heated, but the heating is not as higher as we use in a hot working process. Now, suppose you can see that most of the cold working process are performed at room temperature. So now room temperature means it is around only 30 to 35 degree. Okay, and if you talk about the recrystallization temperature, if we talk about for the recrystallization for the steel, it will be taken as around 900 degrees Celsius or 750 to 900 degrees Celsius. Okay, so that temperature is very high. Now in this picture there is a long range from 35. Suppose if we take 35 to 40 degree as a room temperature, and we take very high temperature which is 730 to 900 as for a recrystallization temperature. So now in between that, whatever be the temperature, suppose if we heat it at around 600, then it is not more than the crystal temperature, and it is not considered as a totally cold working process, because we have around heated around 500 to 600 degrees Celsius. So that range, that will be performed as a warm working. We are not totally heating it. We are not totally dealing at a cold room temperature. Okay, but we heat it to certain extent, and then we perform it, so that it has the advantage of both this hot working and cold working process. Okay, so this scenario is also become very important nowadays, using a warm working process. So these aspects are very important to do the metal forming and metal shaping process. So hot working, cold working, and warm working. So, and this is the difference between these two. So now we are going in deep with the metal forming process. Okay. So metal forming includes a large number of manufacturing processes in which plastic deformation property is used to change the shape and size of the workpiece. Okay, as we have already discussed about this plastic deformation, and due to that plastic deformation, there is a change in shape and size of the metal. Okay, and this process is used in large number of manufacturing process, and that process is known as a metal forming. Now, during this process, and for deformation purpose, a tool is used which is called as a die. Okay, and it applies stresses to the material to achieve the yield strength of the metal. Okay, so in that die, okay, we apply the force so that it will more than the more than its strength, and as it will be more than its strength, it will go into the uh, uh, plastic zone, and when it will reach into the plastic zone, it may have the deformation. Okay, so for that one we are using the die, and due to this metal deforms into the shape of the die. Generally the stresses applied to deform the metal plastically are compressive. Okay, so most of the time the force we are applying is a compressive force on a material, so that whatever be the shape of the die, that can be easily achieved by this material. Okay, but in some forming process, metal stretches, bends, or shear stresses are also applied in metal. Okay, so not all the time we are using the die. Sometimes we just want to bend, we just want to elongate. Okay, suppose if we take the example of a rod and we want to change the length of the rod, so what we'll do, we'll just stretch it. Or sometimes we want to bend a rod or a plate by 90 degree or 30 degree or 40 degrees. Okay, or sometimes it's only requires shear stresses. Okay, so depends upon that. Not only not that die is used each and every time, but depends upon that requirement, we can do this process. Okay, so this is the metal forming process. So that we are going to deep in our upcoming